We wanted the experience of building our own home. I mean, we didn't know anything about it, but we thought we'd take the chance of creating our own space, and we looked at lots of houses and they didn't seem to suit us, so we kind of embarked on the adventure.
I came over to the island, seen this piece of property here, in fact camped the first night right here on this spot, and within a week we bought into this.
I built this home this way because it maximized the opportunity for me from the limitations of bylaws.
It is a conglomeration of my life.
Well, I think home is a place where you can rest, you know, where you can really be yourself, or you know, where you can walk around and be naked, or you can wear anything and be anything, you know, in a way where you feel, where your soul can rest. I think this house reflects us as a family because it's vibrant, it's colourful, it's got all our bits and pieces in it, you know.
I think the home is a space for everybody in the family to be able to create and expand their mind and their bodies and life views and stuff like that.
This property was a compromised piece of property in that it's a wetland and no septic field would be allowed on a wetland. So when we purchased this property, we knew that we would not be able to build a house or even have a standardized septic field.
So here I live like a lord. I have 6 deer passing through on my estate of 1 acre. Every morning and evening they come back through again.
Just about every room in the house, you can look out to the big view or you can look into the small view, which is great, because sometimes you just want to look at your garden and enjoy, you know, what you've done and the flowers, and then other times you want to look out and explore the ocean and watch the ships or the mountains or the changing light.
The heart and soul of this place is no structure, because it's slugs and mice and birds and cats and leaves and grass and mud. That's where I think the heart is.
I think that maybe it's in this room because this is the room where everybody spent probably the most time. It's like eating, TV, schoolwork happens in here.
I have this kind of room, kitchen, which is really the heart of the home, because this is where we basically all live.
This, madam, is the heartbeat of my kingdom. The boiler room of my existence. Can you come in, or is the bowels too threatening, or the sharp light in the corner?
This started as a project to get rid of a couple of cedar stumps. And I like to come over here and just play in the ground in the dirt and build big fires and clean up and stuff like that. And then that's what the idea came from, digging down into the ground and essentially building a semi-earth shelter home.
Inclement weather, I am here. Have a look. Come in. This is the heartbeat. My books, my pencils, my pens, ideas, I rush to the captain's book. Visitors come here too. In a sweep of this cloth, my desk is gone, and it is another bunk for an invited guest.
And so all the rocks here come from within a mile radius of the place, or all the gravel came right from this hole. There's sand pockets in here and everything. I mean, the water's been coming through this section here for generations. I mean, probably for millions of years, since the Ice Age anyway. We just, the two of us, did it all with hand tools. I didn't even use a chainsaw. That was it. And it was the idea of being able to build your home. And then the next step was to grow my own vegetables. I mean, it's a part of looking after myself, right? I don't want to be looked after when I'm an old man.
Buy something.
When you can't afford it, you got to do it yourself. And so I did it myself.
We had always wanted to live on the land. We lived in Vancouver for years, and you just can't buy, you can't own a piece of land, you can't buy a piece of land, you know, in your 20s. This was just a pole barn with a roof and some poles. So it was a price we could afford. The only way we could live here was to build a house that we could live in, which is what we did.
I just wanted a piece of land to live on that was, you know, that was mine and that I could do whatever I wanted with, you know, within the bylaws, I suppose. It's still very much a work in progress, I would say, and that it's, you know, ask me that question in 50 years.
And they will rant from there in their tight little lives. Tell me your tasks, Mr. Wigmore. I will put my pajamas in the drawer marked pajamas, and then you will take them off.
I think one of the most rewarding things about building your own house isn't so much everything you do right, which is what makes you feel proud, but it's also knowing about every little thing you did wrong, you know. Like I can look at the house and every time I see, oh, you know, that doesn't fit quite rightly with that, it brings back all these memories. And to me, building a house was also a lot about learning how to do it.
Ever since I got married, I've been drawing pictures of houses, trying to decide, you know, what kind of design that I would like to live in. And I wanted it to be something which really expressed the character of the West Coast. And what impressed me the most was the beautiful cedar trees. So I decided I wanted the trees to stand the way they grew. So I thought, well, we'll put a window between every log, and that will eliminate the need to shave off the edge of the wood to make it fit tightly together. I can let the natural line of the log express itself. And when I design something, it's thought out before I start. So almost everything went exactly as planned.
So I suppose the most fundamental directive for me was cost effective, and after that, as almost equally significant, would be environmentally considerate. And with those two as stipulations, then everything sort of fell into place. I didn't have a master plan that I started with a long time ago. I sort of ended up in a situation where we had a necessity.
I built this house for approximately $6,000. It's a 1,200 square foot house. If I paid a contractor to build this house, it would probably cost somewhere in the neighborhood of, on today's prices, I think about $350,000.
I can make a home out of a cat box. That's how I travel the world. I hate wasting money on housing. Plus, I happen to like what I meet outdoors. I haven't got to get to crawling under a bridge in a city yet, and I have no intention doing it because the environment has to be safe.
I'm glad I've got a place like this where I can be by myself when I want to. If people, I have enough power in my own little power spot that somebody comes to my door and I don't want them to come in, I can say, go away. You know, and if they say for all time, I might laugh and say, no, not for all time, but for now.
It's a home is many things, you know. I mean, there's our home within us, but then there's the home, the external home. So this, for now, is my home. It won't always be my home.
I don't know, my home has always been sort of I was thinking about it, it's kind of my internal world, externalized. You know, so I draw metaphors, I learn about myself, and I think largely that's what cabin fever is about. I don't know if people ever think about it, but it's like you're faced with, you know, your stuff, your lessons all the time through your home in what you do. You know, like things you don't want to see, like maybe the garbage is piling up and you don't want to deal with it, and that's, I don't know, that says something about who you are.
I hope that many more young families will have the possibilities of creating their own homes.
I personally think that that if possible, everyone should build their own home.
After the many disasters that one has and builds oneself up and climbs out of the hole and whatever you do, This was my last one. Cast up on the seashore, taking my driftwood with me.
Okay, the three words that convey how I feel about my home is beauty, light, and love.
My home makes me feel proud. We built it. It also makes me feel loved.
I think if I had to sum up what this house meant for me, it meant independence.
In one word, my home is my womb.
Under the tarp, it's not so wetter, it's always better under the tarp.
Sorry, I spaced out. Okay, go again.
I have forgotten my lines. Excuse me.
I'm lucky because a lot of people don't get to live in the caboose.
And if you're not an individual, you ain't no fucking good.